what about the woke stranglehold that you describe in the book? You say the media is in this woke stranglehold. So again, what corners of the media, and how do you get out of that stranglehold?
It's a great question. So, I mean, I spent a lot of time on the New York Times in my book because as the former paper of record, as I like to say, they get outsized attention because they have an outsized responsibility as a leader in the industry. And what we really saw in the New York Times is again and again, personnel decisions being made to suit the very, very woke pressures of online mobs that were oftentimes created by their own employees. So, and that has a
younger liberal employees pressuring management to take certain actions, right? Is that what that means?
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
But don't we also see that these staffers, they're trying to push for a place they believe will be a more perfect newsroom, a more perfect union, a more perfect opinion page? Isn't that that's just a common tug of war that happens? It's happened for decades.
Well, what we're really seeing is that it has influenced the coverage, right? So it's not that some people want to have their say. It's that they literally have imported these highly specialized, radical academic ideas. And if you don't hew to these very radical, specific, elite ideas, you get thrown out, essentially. We're not talking about debate here. We're talking about the silencing of debate. And I think what happened, Glenn Youngkin's victory was a perfect example of this. The media's response to Youngkin's victory is literally the reason that he won, right? How did they respond?
There's 100 medias, 100 reactions. You're pretty overly generalizing, I think.
Let me get more specific for you, okay? Because I have to say, I have to admit, having watched CNN all week, there's been a lot of very, very, very good genuflection on this front. But what happened right after the election was you saw host after host after host on MSNBC saying, oh, this is a victory for white supremacy, right? White supremacy wins again. Racism wins again. When, the lieutenant governor that Youngkin won with will be the first black woman to hold that job. When Glenn Youngkin managed to flip majority black districts, when he managed to get between 40 and 50% of Latino voters, are all of those people white supremacists? Of course they're not. They're people who are worried about, number one, the economy, right? And number two, schooling. And it seems to me it is such a self-own to tell people who are worried about the economy that that is white supremacy, right? You are essentially criminalizing the views of working class Americans. And you saw the same thing with the conversation around critical race theory, right? You saw all of these pundits being like, these people don't know what critical race theory is. That is not a political statement. That is a class statement. They are not educated enough to be opposed to critical race theory. How dare they oppose it?
This is Charlie Kirk, founder and CEO of Turning Point USA. If you liked this video, be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Turning Point USA.